Please join us in welcoming the founder and CEO of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Tamara Lohan.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm going to talk to you about innovation, but none of it will be about technology or AI, I promise. I'm going to talk to you about experience through design, the experience of comfort and home. I'm going to talk to you about all-inclusive, but none of it will be about more. And finally, I'll talk to you about transformation, but none of it will be about changing your customer. Let's talk about experience through design. There are those hotels that have a best table, and then there are those hotels where every table is a best table. This is Forestis in the Dolomite Mountains in Italy. When redesigning the hotel, the owners here wanted to solve one problem. Every evening, as their customers wandered down to the restaurant for their evening meal, they had a terrible decision to make. Which of the customers to disappoint? Only four of the tables had that view. And so in construction, they had one goal. Every table had to have a view. The result, as you can see here, a panoramic, cinematic, floor-to-ceiling view of the Dolomite Mountains, and the tables with booths in a tiered theatre style. Every single table has a view. Comfort is something that we all want our guests to experience, but a truly frictionless stay is so hard to achieve. And customers' needs from comfort are changing, especially in this work from anywhere trend that is definitely here to stay. On the corner of Fifth Avenue, the Oman in New York, the former home of the Museum of Modern Art, this building has undergone a radical transformation under architect Jean-Michel Gatthy. He has created 3 floors of wellness space with muted, toned-down colors, fireplaces to create warmth, the epitome of rest and relaxation. But in the communal areas, as you can see here, with double-vaulted ceilings, his one concern was around acoustics, so that every conversation feels intimate, no matter where you are in the space. And when it came to the rooms, soundproof totally, so you feel cocooned. Fireplaces create those moments of warmth and coziness. Backlit rice paper panels allow guests to open up the space or close it down at will. And the desk area, well, the desk points out towards the room. It doesn't face a wall. What he has created is a home from home that's also an office and a spa. The 22 in London was a home, then turned office, and then turned private home again. And the owners here, when they took it on, could do very little with the structure because it was a protected building. What they have done, by design, is create a very nice flow that encourages, if not partying per se, definitely a little decadence, and the feeling that you want to linger longer. You enter at the middle, and both sides are for relaxation. The lounge to the left, the restaurant to the right, and sweeping staircases take you down to the ravishing red nightclub downstairs, where it's definitely party time. The rooms, the A-list suites, have double bathrooms for privacy. The Muse House has a private entrance, as does the main hotel. It all creates, through design, that all back to mine feeling of excitement. Now, I want you all to close your eyes. What do you see in your mind's eye when I say the words all-inclusive? Open them again. I want to talk about value. I want to talk about how value is changing, Because it used to be about more. It used to be about how much can I eat, how much can I drink, how much can I consume in one sitting. How many of you, when I asked you to close your eyes, were thinking of a wristband? Value is changing, all-inclusive is changing, and it's about experience. It's about feeling good. It's about personalization. It's not about more, it's about better. All-inclusive removes the worry about price. Customers are thinking, I'm treating myself to this wonderful stay, this holiday that I've been looking forward to for so long, and I'm not going to get a nasty shock at the end with the bill. The seeds of change in all-inclusive started in the wellness space. The Yotown properties in Madeira and in Dorset were at the forefront of this. From the minute you arrive to the minute you leave, your every need is catered for. You don't not just have to worry about price. You don't have to worry about anything. And in a very different way from that old all-inclusive, this is about resetting your mind, your body, your soul. And the innovative luxury and boutique hotels out there are catching on. Heckfield Place, just outside London, next month, it's already out in the FT, will launch a new wellness space around a bothy that was built in the 1800s. 17,000 square feet over 2 floors. Upstairs, the water's cold, hot, tepid. Downstairs for movement and treatment areas. They are creating an all-inclusive package where the treatments will be guided by circadian rhythms. The theme here is timelessness. They want to try and make time stand still by taking people back to nature, by taking them back to a simpler time, by going at nature's pace. And this is about reconnecting to yourself and to your own rhythms. Limewood, also in the New Forest, is about to launch an all-inclusive day package, not necessarily about wellness, just taking that concern out of price. And they'll launch a 3-day retreat later on in the year. But even if you just take the wellness out of all of this, dinner, bed and breakfast rates are the most popular rates on our platform today. In fact, one of our top-selling hotels, their dinner, bed and breakfast rate this quarter sold 30% more than any other discounted offer. Now, when you think of all-inclusive, are you still thinking of wristbands? Of course, it's all about understanding how customers see value. And that would take listening to your customers in the first place. And for a long time, I feel like as an industry, we have been directing our customers as to what we believe is the best experience for them. Maybe it's time that we let them just be. Maybe our customers don't want to be transformed. Maybe they don't want to come away somebody completely different. Perhaps they want to just be. They want to rest. They want to pause from the hecticness of life. They want to reconnect with who they are. And the hotels that are helping them do this are doing it through immersion. Immersion in the present and immersion in nature. Marina Efraimoglu, the founder of Euphoria Retreat, battled cancer in her 20s. On her path to rebalance her life and heal herself, she visited spas, wellness centers, health clinics. But every too often, the process of transformation they were leading her through, she felt was dictated to her. And it was often linked to sacrifice and denial, when all she wanted was to live and feel well. So when she created Euphoria Retreat, she threw away those strict rules and dictums and decided to guide and nurture her guests back to health. She has created a place to just be. Similarly, Nicole and Fleur, the owners of Stedakopja Farm in South Africa, have lovingly restored 50 acres of farmland and are growing 60 varietals of indigenous and heritage plants. They've created an ecosystem that thrives in accordance with the laws of nature and doesn't battle with it. And it's their program that is all about healing through a simple closeness to that nature. It's about rest, regeneration, and reconnection. It's about quietening the mind, unfurling the body, and abandoning expectation. Their wise women retreats explore the beauty of surrender, the beauty of just being. And at Kisawa Sanctuary in Mozambique, they've taken personalization to the next level. The minimum plot size of the secluded suites here is 1 acre, 1 acre of private tropical paradise. You are never closer to nature or further away from anybody else for that matter. And there is no better way to just be than to be by yourself. But they personalize in a myriad of ways. Your pantry is stocked to your preference. Your food you can pick from the garden and the chef will cook for you that evening. A service team dedicated to you. Jet lag treatments that are customized to where you've come from and how long you've traveled. Consultations to see what your objective of the stay is, to create a personalized program or not. This is not a hotel telling their customer how they want to be served. This is a hotel listening to how their customer wants to be. And so these are the hotels that I am lucky enough to work with at Mr. and Mrs. Smith. These are the hotels that I see as the innovators. They are designing for experience, the experience of comfort and home and work and rest. They are living their values through their spaces. They are rethinking value, and it's not about providing more, it's about providing better. They are the ones genuinely listening to what their customers' needs are and adapting to those needs. Because in a world of disconnection, disintegration, disintermediation, customer trust is no longer freely given, it is earned. And it's when a hotel's design, values, and service are all in harmony with their customers' needs that the magic happens and a meaningful human connection can be made. Thank you very much.
I love that, Tamara. Thank you so much for doing this. So we're very excited to have her do sort of like a TED-style talk because she's such excellent. And you, with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you have this unique worldview because you and your husband and your team have gone around and you've seen so many of these distinctive properties.
This is what gets me out of bed every day, right? It's, although I'm a techie and I love the platform and all of that, it's the hoteliers and the hoteliers in this room as well who inspire me every day. And 20 years on, and I could have put another 100 hotels up there and spoken about them in kind of similar ways. They really are incredible.
Well, I'd like to just very briefly feedback on what really struck me in your presentation. This is the first time I'm seeing it. And so we've talked about, when we've talked with executives on stage, we've said, well, there's this shift that we're seeing, that consumers of a certain category they're sort of ring fencing some of their spending. They're moving from material to experiences because they really are valuing travel. But we haven't connected the dots. Tamara is connecting the dots that influences what kind of offerings you should give them. So when you take price out, for example, in the example of all-inclusive, when you presented all of this data about how some of your best-selling products of hotels is when they include the dinner and they include the bed and breakfast, so you're removing price. That's tying into what the psychological trend is that multiple hotel group executives are saying that they are seeing with consumers, and then translating it into a product or service. I was also really struck by, at the beginning about design, you had the example of, it was the 22 hotel. They had that structural limit. So often as a reporter, I hear people say, you know, we can't, well, it's very nice that they're presenting that on stage, but we can't do that. They had, because of the historical nature of the property, it was limited, but within that boundary, they found ways to innovate. Maybe if you could briefly talk about what Mr. and Mrs. Smith is for people who aren't yet familiar with it, in terms of how it is that you have this curated collection of properties.
So we are a curator. We're a travel club for people who love boutique and luxury hotels. It's as simple as that. We live and die by our curation. We want to work with the very best hotels out there. And that's why our customers come back to us and book with us again and again. And we see ourselves very much as partners with the hotel to bring them the right customers, because every single one of our hotels, and I hope that gives you a taster, is unique, absolutely unique. And so, you know, customers try and understand that through the way that we present the hotels, but they are joined in this kind of wonderful way in terms of independent and stylish, great service levels, but the core is that experience. And again, that can be very different whether you're talking about a pub in the British countryside, where the experience is great walks, great country pub food, a roaring fireplace, and a great night's sleep, versus it's date night, I want to go out in London, I've got my heels on, I need that barman to mix me a perfect martini. It's a very different, but I think that what Mr. and Mrs. Smith does is allows us to collect all of these wonderful, unique properties in one place.
And I think what you were doing at Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it ties it. So you have a partnership with IHG as well.
Yes, and British Airways.
And British
IAG
Airways.
was here on stage today as well.
And you're open to more partnerships, I'm sure.
We are, yes.
And so, but it's a change, like as we heard from the Accor chief financial officer, when they're trying to they reorganize, you know, what works best for presenting a mid-scale or an economy property is not the best way to get luxury and lifestyle to consumers. And so a filtered, curated approach, what the innovations that Mr. and Mrs. Smith are doing and how they present and market and encourage people to tell their stories. Because what really struck me is some of those properties, you might look at the property and there's a nothingness there. So how do you tell a story when you compare that to a property where it's in downtown London and there's all this excitement? But the positioning of it in this is opportunity to center yourself connected with the local environment, the community, the food regeneration is a chance to get balance. There's this interesting tension that we're also digital now, and then when we have this opportunity to actually be in a place where we can be at one. How has business been for Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Has it rebounded since the pandemic? Are you better than 2019 or about the same? Or?
Yeah, we've been better than 2019 since the beginning of 22.
Wow, that's a good.
We bounced back very quick, very fast. Our customers, I guess it's because we represent kind of independent traveler as well, and so they were the first to get on a plane.
And that sort of gives the bottom line message that there are real dollars chasing this message that you have. Tamara, thank you so much for sharing this presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you. Thank you.